And good afternoon. Welcome to KHTS. You are listening to your Hometown Drive with your host, Jade Aubuchon, Sophia Lesseos, and me, Jen Sparks. And this is where we talk all about local Santa Clarita Valley news and sports, entertainment, traffic, and more. Today's show, we're pretty packed, I hear, right, guys? We've got a lot of good stuff going on. This is our first show back from our extended holiday break, and obviously I think everybody's talking about New Year's resolutions and all those things that come with the beginning of a new year. I don't really do New Year's resolutions. Do you guys do anything like that?
Not really. Usually it's just me trying to recover from eating everything over the holidays.
Yeah.
And just trying to revamp and go, okay, hey, what are my overarching goals this year? What am I trying to go with? So
Sure.
we have a couple of fun projects in the works that I think are going to be pretty fun that are part of my goals. So I'm excited to see how they go.
Good.
Oh, yeah. I think I do some sort of New Year's resolutions, but it's more like I'm trying to just keep myself in check and making sure that I'm making healthy and conscious choices.
There you go.
No, but really,
At least
I
2
think,
months.
yes, I was going to say like Halloween. I think kind of everything goes off the rails at that point, at least for me.
My earring just fell off. I don't know why it did that.
It decided.
It's under the desk.
Well, we'll find that during the break.
Find it, don't worry.
But I'm very glad to be here, to be back. We are finally at a point where it is no longer absolutely pouring buckets down over Santa Clarita.
Oh, yes.
That was rough. It was a very wet holiday season. But have you guys noticed any of the changes that have already started in this new year? I don't know about you, but when I was out shopping over the holidays, I was noticing some things in the grocery stores.
Oh, yeah. Californians, did you guys notice that we don't have any plastic bags anymore? Whoa. That one was a big one.
Just in time for all that rain that we had, too.
Yeah.
2 weeks straight of nothing but rain, and now we have these awesome paper bags.
Yeah. There's a couple new laws that we're actually looking at that we're going to talk about just in this beginning segment. So I'm just going to bring up just like quite a few, and then we can go into details. We have a new plastic bag ban. We have food delivery platforms that you can get just delivery things that provide a full refund on there if you don't get your food. We have a cat declawing law go into effect, gun storage, Family Preparedness Act, so a bunch of different those. Do you guys want to talk about, which ones do you want to talk about first?
Well, I think we've covered the plastic bag brand pretty good, but I am interested in hearing more about this food delivery platform thing. I don't really do food delivery anymore in terms, it's too expensive.
True.
And it's way too expensive. I'd rather either go pick it up myself or eat out for the same price.
Right.
But I think that's what makes this new bill, which is AB 578, so much more relevant. You want to tell me a little bit more about it, Sophia?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you ever get your food not delivered, don't worry because you could actually get a full refund on this. I've had this happen to me a couple of times when I was living in Fresno where somebody delivered the food to the wrong place. They never delivered. I just was out the money that I spent, which kind of sucked because I was really looking forward to that ramen.
It's somewhere, just not on your front porch.
Not in my stomach.
Yeah.
Well, if you use Uber Eats, DoorDash, Postmates, you can get a full refund as a customer if your food was wrongly delivered or just not delivered at all. So this is a law that went into effect. This happened starting January 1st. And so anybody who actually does, I know that a lot of people out here actually use food delivery platforms. So if you are doing that, this is actually a good thing. Just for those people that are actually using the platforms, because I mean, I know I've been out a couple of bucks, but if you're ordering for an entire family, that kind of sucks.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if that happens, I've had it in the past where they don't deliver the entire meal or something was messed up, coming from the restaurant to my house through whatever the delivery service is. They'll give you a credit sometimes,
Right.
So at least you get that. But this is obviously the next step up.
Yeah.
That's good. I've got a couple others here too in our little side notes here. The one that kind of stood out to me the most is Assembly Bill 544. This is what we're talking about. New laws taking effect January 1st. E-bikes must now have a reflector or a red light that maybe flashes or blinks, whatever, even if it's static, has to have some kind of reflector on the back of it. And it also kind of says that cops are now able to impound your bike or your scooter if it's being operated illegally. And this caught my attention, like I said, because I have young kids. I live in, suburbia, and it's nothing but little kids on these scooters. And they are doing 40 miles an hour down the hill. And sometimes they have a helmet on, sometimes they don't. Certainly, they don't all have these reflectors, so this is nice. This is good to see that they're putting in some kind of definite action to at least help you see them. Yeah, and especially it gets so dark so early now.
Yeah,
so.
And we've seen a lot here in Santa Clarita, where we've seen a lot of these little teeny boppers going out on these electric motorcycles, essentially, for what some of them are, considering the speed. And we've had people going to city council to complain about packs of roving teenagers going high speeds, which, by the way, is a reminder, if you're under the age of 18, you have to wear a helmet. And if you are an adult, you should be wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
But this will definitely make it a lot safer, because most of these new electric bikes are black entirely. Like, I don't see any sort of color on it.
Yeah,
so
they don't stand out.
And a lot of them are matte too. So I feel like having this, where it's actually safer to use at night, it's required for bikes if you're riding at night. Why wouldn't it be required for e-bikes? But that's why they update the language of the law.
Right. Yeah. There was another one that actually stood out to me too. This is AB 867, and that's for cat declawing. So if you have cats or thinking about getting a cat, you cannot declaw your cat anymore in the state of California. So I don't know if anybody knew this, but cats, when you declaw them, you're not just removing their fingernails, you're actually removing part of the cat bone that is allowed to be removed, or was allowed to be removed before. This causes infections, diseases, injuries to the cats, and it's really uncomfortable for them.
You're essentially cutting the cat's fingertip off, because that's the only way to remove the claws entirely. Because I mean, if you think about it on your own hand, that's a very rough decision to make for the comfort of your furniture. And I don't support cat declawing, but they have.
We have a full list of all of the laws that went into effect on hometownstation.com, so you can go ahead and visit that if you want to get a little bit more details about that. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back just after this.
All right, guys. So let's head back into our discussion here. We've got a lot of, I want to use the word drama. I don't know if that's the appropriate word for it, but it seems like we've had a lot of interesting development going on surrounding one popular restaurant in particular. And it's just been kind of like back and forth. Every day it seems like there's a different story, a different headline, if you will. So what do we have going on over at Saugus Cafe?
Yeah, so let me jump right into it with a little bit of background. The Saugus Cafe has been around for 139, 140 years, depending on who you talk to. It is one of the oldest continually operating restaurants in Los Angeles County. And this has definitely been a very long and complicated process over the last several weeks, even several months. And so what has been happening is that there has been a very public discussion of the future of the Saugus Cafe, and very specifically, who owns the rights to its future. Now, this is getting very complicated, partially because you are dealing with several different groups here. You are dealing with the people who own the property and say that they own the name, and that is the Arkland family. Then you are dealing with the people who have been operating the restaurant itself for the past 20-something years. That is the Mercado family. And then you are dealing with the new ownership who is coming in now to continue the Saugus Cafe according to them and the Arklands.
Yeah, and then there's also a middle person who has been their landlord for the last 30 plus years now. So that is also another person that they're dealing with as well.
Correct. And Sophia, you've done quite a lot of work on this story. Can you tell me a little bit about what has been the big contention in the public eye?
Oh, I was going to turn to you on this one because you were the one who spoke to the new owners.
I can do that too. You just give me a question to launch off of.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's been really confusing I'm going to just start with that for the Santa Clarita public. What's been confusing for the Santa Clarita just in general is that there was a statement saying that Saugus Cafe is closing. And then from the actual land ownership and building ownership, they said that Saugus Cafe was not closing, that it was renovating, and that they're getting a a new management to take over the Saugus Cafe, but the previous people who were running it for over 30 years said, no, that's not true. The 140-year-old business is shutting down permanently. So there was a lot of back and forth confusion within this community that I think people either felt a little bit hurt by the news, that maybe they felt like they were being lied to. Others have been very active on social media saying that, well, we knew this from the beginning that they were going to be shutting down, and then it's very confusing that now all of a sudden they're opening back up. So there's just been a lot of things circling in Santa Clarita, and I think what we can be doing is maybe clarifying just a little bit. So, Jade, I know that you spoke with the new owners. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us what they told you about what is happening and their renovations going into it?
Yes, absolutely. So when I spoke with the new owners, what they are planning to do is they don't want to lose the character of the Saugus Cafe. And now that's very important because if there's one thing we've learned from this whole thing, mm-hmm. it's that the Santa Clarita community and the broader Los Angeles County is very proud of the Saugus Cafe and its heritage, and they want to preserve that. I mean, I was looking at the conversations on social media, and people were talking about their parents meeting at the Saugus Cafe for their first date in 1930.
That's so cute.
And you're talking about generational memories at the Saugus Cafe, and that's why we saw lines around the building when the final announcement of the last few days of the Mercado's business happened.
Right.
For days, people were standing in the rain just to get a chance to go sit inside of this old classic American style
for
diner.
hours.
Yeah. Hours.
And I do want to start by saying and giving the Mercados a little bit of credit here. When they're saying that they're closing, technically their management is closing. So I want to give them the benefit of the doubt in saying that their business for what they called the original Saugus Cafe and them running the business since 1998 was closing on that end.
Okay, so that doesn't necessarily mean that the
actual
building itself will shut down.
Yeah.
They're passing it along.
Correct. So that was not clarified. And the new business owners are coming in, and what they have told us is that they're planning on using the Saugus Cafe name and continuing the business.
Yes, because with the permission of the Arkland family who owns the property itself. Mm-hmm. So that is where the Saugus Cafe, as it is, according to the property owners and the new management, that will continue according to them. But they really do want to preserve the heart of the Saugus Cafe and what makes it beloved in the community. They told me that they actually had their chef working in the kitchen with the previous managers for at least a week and a half before the shutdown to get an idea of what was working, what wasn't, what dishes do people love, and why, in order to make sure that those were preserved. And in order to have it where you don't have a complete shift in the taste profile of what people love. But they do plan to also go in and kind of clean things up and streamline it. I know that they plan to gut the kitchen, clean everything, completely reorganize, update things quite a bit. But they don't want the Saugus Cafe to stop being the Saugus Cafe.
Okay. What is interesting to me is that a lot of people were saying online, and including the Mercado family, that I saw those statements, and they were even made on our social media when we were posting about the Saugus Cafe from the family itself, saying that they were completely shutting down and they had no idea that there was another business coming in. So if there was a chef that was then, I guess for all purposes, training with their chefs, that's not necessarily true.
Yes. And we do have the name of the new family that has come in, but, previously at the time when we did the initial story, they declined to be identified. They have been identified by other media now. I will just clarify it. That is I always mess up their name.
Reina.
Thank you. Yes. That is the Reina family.
Yeah.
And so members of this family do run other restaurants in the Santa Clarita area that are very popular. It's Dario's.
Yeah.
So you may see during the afternoon and evening hours a little bit of a shift to the stuff that they do well, which is, Dario's is a very popular Mexican restaurant, but it is a Mexican restaurant that was started by a Colombian family, and so they take a lot of inspiration from that as well. So they want to bring in a little bit more, Southern California food, it seems to me it always has at least some sort of Mexican inspiration in most
or
things.
Latin,
or Latin inspiration in general in most things. But they do want to keep those morning breakfast hours classic American diner fare as much as possible.
So what we are learning now is there has been a cease and desist.
I got you.
Cease and desist letter sent from my understanding, when I was reading this letter, from the Mercado's family lawyer, saying that this lawyer sent it over to Mr. Goodman, which is our middleman in what I was talking about earlier. So this is Larry Goodman. This is the
Arkland family who owns the property. They have an operator who is the landlord, and that is Larry Goodman, and he is the middleman between the property owners and all tenants, which are now the Mercados and the Reinas.
Yes. So, I know, it's complicated.
So it's really kind of too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yes.
Pardon the pun.
Yes.
It's really sounds like there's just a lot of moving parts.
If you're not familiar with the situation, it's like, okay, give me a timeline from the exact, and what's been happening. And I understand why the community has been so confused about the whole thing.
Well, and it seems, Jade, you had mentioned reading comments on social media. It seems that people are upset too. Obviously, they have an affection for it, an affinity for it, a lot of memories for it, and so they don't want it to see, just kind of go up in the air. And I would think that even besides all of this kind of chaos that's happening behind the scenes, somebody will make it happen to where the doors can remain open. You can't have a business sustain for 140 years and then just all of a sudden go away. I don't think the community would allow that,
Yeah. I wanted to read the cease and desist. Excuse me. I am very tongue-tied today.
It's all right. We're having a day.
I'm kind of just going to be summarizing this. So it basically is just sending the landlord a letter saying that they feel a little bit gypped by what happened with the business, that they do not want people or new owners or anybody in there to be using the name, the original Saugus Cafe. And since this location has been operating for over 100 years, 30 of those years, those clients had been operating that business, they feel that they need to be compensated if another business is going to be using that name, as well as if they're going to be going in there. They even say at the very end that the client has changed the locks and have threatened to do, if the other property is going to try to go in there, that if they try to forcibly remove any of their stuff, that they're going to take legal action. So this is kind of bringing a little bit more interesting things into this whole situation, because from what we know, this family did not own the business from the 1800s. So using the Saugus Cafe name, even though you ran it for 30 years, and I'm sure they're very proud about that, but it's just a little bit more confusing and adding more layers on top of this cake, essentially.
Correct. And even the property owners, the Arklands, have not owned it since the 1800s as well. They bought it in 1996, 2 years before they offered operational ownership to the Mercado. So things get very finicky in that aspect of, yes, there has always been a Saugus Cafe of some kind or another, but was it the original Saugus Cafe? The old, with an E, Saugus Cafe. At one point, it was the Toll-Free's Coffee House. There's always been a restaurant there at the Saugus Party. However, it has not... What it has been called has always been a little bit shifting.
Yeah. We've done several stories on this story, and we're going to continue to follow along to this. You can go ahead and go to hometownstation.com in order to get a little bit more details about that, because we just covered the surface and there is way more to be talking about. But we're going to head to break, and we will be right back.
All right, and we're back. You're listening to your Hometown Drive, and we're going to pick up a new hot topic. I just kind of breezed through this a little bit. Everybody loves construction, right? This is what's causing problems for us this afternoon. And pretty much every day, it's just kind of part of what, this is what we pay for. What is it? The sunshine tax. And so you're going to get stuck with some pretty gnarly construction. But there's a bit of an issue where they want to do a closure. And so people are not happy about this.
Not just a closure of one of the main thoroughfares in Santa Clarita, from Santa Clarita to the Antelope Valley, and very specifically some of the communities that are nestled within the Angeles National Forest to the north of us. So this is a fascinating, it's a fascinating back and forth in this one. I mean, We always get a lot of complaints about new developments here in the Santa Clarita Valley, and this is essentially on the north side of Saugus, just north of the intersection of Bouquet Canyon Road and Plum Canyon Road. Sophia, you were at the meeting last night, and you were telling us that Santa Clarita residents were openly angry, booing speakers. We're just lucky there weren't any tomatoes available.
Yeah, no rotten tomatoes, thank goodness. But yes, this meeting, wow. If you were not there, it was, man, I would say over 100 residents were there. They were very, very, very angry. I mean, every single person who spoke for the city, for the construction crew, for fire, for the sheriff's department, every single person was getting interrupted. Every single one. And I understand that they're trying to make a presentation and show what's going to be happening, and people were just not having it and were very visibly upset and yelling at speakers. I think at one point, one of the speakers who was representing Lennar, somebody started making fun of the way he was talking and just started booing them and was asking for compensation for how much they're going to be closing Bouquet and how much traffic is going to be just shifting around. And
it just completely disintegrated into middle school bullying.
Yes. Yeah. It was not pretty. And I will just throw that out there. But I do understand where they're coming from to a certain extent, because this is going to affect people's lives for 11 months. This is not just a closure that's tomorrow and then on Monday it's going to open again.
Yeah, an extended weekend. That's the problem, that it's going to last for nearly a year, like you said.
Right.
And obviously it's in a heavily populated area. We're struggling just on the side streets half the time, I feel like, let alone a major thoroughfare. I can't even imagine how many thousands of people, I guess, would be in that direct area.
Right.
Just on your day-to-day.
Yeah, and Jade was kind of mentioning this. So the city of Santa Clarita is interesting because we don't have freeways that go in the middle of town at all. All of our freeways are kind of just like on the outskirts of town. And so this, where Bouquet Canyon is where a lot of people travel from the AV or going to Canyon Country or going either way. I mean, I live in Acton, so I use these travel all the time, actually. And going down Bouquet Canyon, going down Vasquez Canyon, and going down Sierra Highway or Soledad or whatever, just because it's very convenient for me.
Well, it's like, for example, when I used to live, I used to live right off of Plum and Bouquet, which is just to the south.
Which is right there.
And so this construction actually takes place where the entirety of Bouquet Canyon Road will be fully closed between Benz and David Way, which, for the people who don't know, David Way might not sound familiar, but that is that tiny little street you turn on to then immediately turn left to access Copper Hill.
Yeah.
So it is a very, very important tiny
That's
little
right.
section. So
it's almost like a side street. It's small.
Correct.
It's
a
small,
tiny little side
Yeah.
street. You cross Bouquet Creek and then you immediately turn left onto Copper Hill.
And that'll bring you kind of near Newhall Ranch, right? Right in that
Copper
kind
Hill
of general
then
area.
runs into Newhall
Yeah.
Ranch,
Yeah.
but Copper Hill also crosses Haskell. It crosses Cinco.
Right.
It crosses McBean. That is essentially our main thoroughfare in the northern Valencia, northern Saugus area. Or
And
for me, when I was going to school, when I was going to COC, I went to the College of the Canyons, like Canyon Country campus.
Oh, yeah, and it's right
so
there.
I'd scoot up Bouquet Canyon Road, pass by the jail, or not so much jail anymore, juvenile detention center, pass by the juvenile detention center, pass by, Lombardi Ranch,
Right.
and then turn right on Vasquez and skippity-doo-dah my way over to Sierra Highway. So it's highly convenient, and it's also one of the only routes into places like
Valencia.
not just Valencia, but if we're going up, Green Valley,
Oh, yeah.
Lake Hughes, which already Lake Hughes Road is closed in entire sections, so that roadway's closed.
Yeah.
What is that going to do to the communities in the hills north of us?
It's going to be impacting a lot. I just wanted to kind of read like a little bit of like what is actually going to be happening. So the reason why this is happening, this project, I'm going to just throw this out there, was approved back in November 2020. This includes construction of a new alignment of Bouquet Canyon Road, and it is going to be putting in a lot of different routes, as well as a very large housing complex that's going to be put in there. And this extended closure is for what the city is saying is for a major flood control area. So what they're going to be doing, and I'm just reading bullet points over here, but there's going to be up to 375 homes for sale in a planning area, as well as additional road improvements, gated neighborhood entries. They're going to be creating parks and trails and trailheads. And they're also going to be that massive wash that you guys see on the side that's kind of by Saugus High School over there. That's going to be extended. So right now it is approximately 40 feet. They're going to be widening it to 120 feet, deepening it from 6 feet right now to 17 feet. Now, the reason that they're doing that, I'm going to just throw this out there, is because back in the 60s when they built this, we did not have this many people or people even living over there to begin with. So with this massive, large population that we've been growing in Santa Clarita, I mean, we are literally the #1 city in all of Los Angeles County that has just been like massively growing. And I don't think Santa Clarita expected this many people to be moving out here, as well as how much construction and properties that we've been building. So
it's that double-edged blade of like, oh, Santa Clarita, it's where you have the good life. You want to work,
raise your
live,
kids,
and play. But the thing is that when you're like, hey, everybody should want to live here, then everybody wants to live here.
Yeah, we're at capacity.
So it's that, oh, okay, everybody wants to live here. Now they live here.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
And
how
now
do
we
we
don't
get
have
them
housing.
out safely? Where do we put them?
And this is also going to be helping with emergency crews and other things when the project is done. But this is going to be impacting a lot.
Well, and can I be so bold as to say that they say 11 months, right? We'll call it a year. Is it really going to be 11 months? Or are we looking at an 18-month project and so on?
Could be.
2-year project.
I think you have every right to think that.
Yeah.
Really, truly. Because, I mean, we always see that with even Caltrans.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
The perpetual fixing of the 5 is
the 5
one
freeway.
of those things that
I don't know if I'm ever going to
can
see it
bet
done.
on.
In my lifetime.
It's a guesstimate, really.
It's like, was it Benjamin Franklin said that the only guarantees in life are death and taxes?
Death and
I'd
taxes.
say there's 3 things, and that is death, taxes, and there will always be Caltrans work on the 5 freeway.
Yes.
Construction will go too long.
Go
Always.
LA. But this is a really big project that's going to be impacting a lot of people, and residents over in that area were very angry, and they even were asking, I mean, a lot of the things that they were bringing up were about businesses and how they're going to be impacted since those roads are going to be closed. Schools, Saugus High School, the Saugus Union School District has a couple of elementary schools over in that area, and then financial-ish areas of how people are going to be surviving. So there was just very angry people last night. It didn't seem like the Lennar was actually, in my opinion, was listening to a lot of the people. They were kind of taking notes, but not really. They were just saying that they're going to be taking it into consideration. And I thought going into this meeting that they were going to be taking notes and then maybe implementing people's ideas. But it was more of this is what's happening.
Well, they got the contract
Right.
to do the job.
Right.
And they're just going to have to do the job. And, it might just be that this is what the community has to deal with and suffer through.
And I will absolutely say, for anybody who is concerned about projects like this decision happened in 2020. If you want to have input
6 years ago,
on
technically.
development in your community, attention to city council and planning commission meetings. And when you have an opportunity to speak, that's when you speak up. Right now, it's too late. This decision has been made.
Yeah.
And when is this closure expected? Mid-January?
Yeah, so
that
there's
roundabout?
already areas over there that's actually already closing.
Yeah, trying to get
and
people
they're
used
already
to it.
you'll see like construction already happening. I just drove up there just because we had some breaking news over there today, and I even saw some of the construction and road closures. So it's going to be starting now. And we don't know exactly when everything's going to be closing, but just expect that it's probably going to be starting next week. Yeah.
All right, 11 months and counting, huh?
Yep. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
And it's your hometown drive, and we're back this afternoon talking with Steven from our sports department. And it sounds like we've got a lot happening in sports. This isn't just a quiet weekend, huh?
Yeah, we have a lot happening. The biggest thing happened Tuesday night. Canyon's Darby Dunn scored her 1,000th career points, which is the first time that has ever been done in the Foothill League and just Santa Clarita in general for any female player.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. And not only did she reach that 1,000 point mark, but the game she had was incredible. She scored 30 points. She had 9 rebounds, 9 assists, and 9 steals.
Goodness gracious.
Wow, she must be really good. Are there any colleges looking at her right now?
I know she has toured a couple. She's actually only a sophomore right now.
Really?
Yeah, she's only a sophomore, so she still has a couple years to go. So I don't think she's looking too much into colleges. I'm sure a lot of colleges are looking at her right now, though, because, I mean, she's a stud.
Yeah.
Which
Especially
says,
breaking records that young.
yeah, I mean, there's players that have played 2 years varsity, 3, even 4, and haven't got this 1,000-point mark, but she did this season and a half into her sophomore year.
Goodness gracious.
Wow.
Well, go Cowboys, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. So what did the head coach have to say about that?
She's just ecstatic. I mean, the whole gym just went crazy as soon as she hit that 1,000th point mark because they knew it was happening.
Yeah.
They had a sign for her. Cheerleaders came up.
Yeah.
They put out the sign. Coach called a timeout. Team went and celebrated really quick. It's funny because the whole team looked very ecstatic, but her is like kind of looked like just business as usual. Like, you know what? This is what I do. I score points and I did it. Awesome. Let me celebrate a little, but let me get back to the court because this happened before halftime.
Oh,
she
wow.
still had
So she
another,
had to go back
So they had
and-
another half of the game?
They still had a whole nother half of the game to go.
She was probably in the zone. She probably didn't really realize what had happened until after the game. Once she had a moment for it to settle in and talk to her friends, talk to her family. But initially, I'm sure she was just, kind of in a zone,
In
cloud
shock,
nine. Yeah,
probably, yeah.
That's incredible, especially for someone so young
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Have you spoke to her?
I have not been able to speak to her, but I did speak to the coach, and she was just very ecstatic for Darby being able to get this accomplishment. She said just her being so young is amazing because,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, there's gals that have played 4 years varsity and haven't got that point. So to do this as a sophomore is just incredible.
That is incredible. Wow. What else do we got going on in sports?
We got another big one. So the Cal State girls flag football coach, William Jones, was just honored as the coach of the year by the LA Rams.
Wow.
Yeah, which I have to absolutely give props. I mean, the girls flag football program up here in the Santa Clarita Valley is still fairly new. And for it to go so far where they're getting recognition at the NFL level is terribly impressive.
Yeah, so flag football in Santa Clarita is only on its second season. Cal State itself, this was their inaugural season, so this is their first time going at it, and they actually made it to the playoffs, the Division V playoffs in their first season. So they've been doing a lot of big things in their first season. Like I said, their coach just won the Coach of the Year by the LA Rams for the CIF Southern section. There's a couple other coaches that also won it from different sections in California, but he was, for our section, the Coach of the Year.
That's incredible. First off, I didn't know it was that young. I'm going to throw that out there. So I'm really surprised by that. But even winning Coach of the Year in their second year, like is that even a thing usually? Or does that usually happen like later on in their career?
Well, flag football for girls is still fairly new and up and coming. Like I said, Santa Clarita is only their second season having it. First year for Cal State, and kind of just around California, it's still fairly new and growing. So I can't give you that answer. I don't know because a lot of the programs are young. The oldest program in our Foothill League is Vasquez, and they've only been around for 3 seasons.
Hey, look
Vasquez.
at that.
Vasquez
Vasquez is
High School?
ahead of the curve on
Heck
something.
yeah. Hey, we got Vasquez alumni right here. Go Vasquez. That is Acton. Shout out to my Acton peeps that are listening right now. Love you guys.
So when they're awarded this
people on a horse.
this
Hey.
accolade, what does that mean? What else do they get? Is it just like a pat on the back? Hey, you guys are awesome, or is there something else that comes with this award?
So everything was very nice. First of all, they invited him to SoFi Stadium, so the coach got to go on the field, take a picture. He gets a nice little plaque that says 2025 Coach of the Year. But the program gets a $4,000 check,
Oh,
which is the really big part. It's
yeah.
not
That's
just him
awesome.
getting recognition, but
Yeah.
the whole program gets something out of it.
Yeah.
Did they meet the Rams too?
That part I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. I'm being kind of excited for that
Next
one.
time, if they win a second time, maybe.
At least from what I've
I'll
been
put
told
that out
in-
there.
At least from what I've been told in the pictures, they kind of just bring them down on the field before the game, celebrate them, make an announcement in the stadium, and take some pictures.
Oh, that's still
That's
cool that you get to
cute.
make an announcement in the stadium too. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah, it is, and I know the head coach is very happy to get that $4,000, and
Yeah.
he said a lot of that's just, it's a new program. A lot of that's going to go to new equipment, footballs, buy a little pop-up, little canopies, as well as just new jerseys.
Right. I will say, so when I was at Vasquez, I played flag football for girls. We always had that, actually, every single year. I was one of the linebackers. I will say I got punched in the face at one time when we were playing a game.
You were a linebacker?
Can you state for our listeners, how tall are you?
For everybody who does not know, I am 5'3".
But she's
very
much
fierce.
larger presence.
Yeah, yeah. I am 6'3" with my personality.
Sure.
There you go.
So yes, I was a linebacker, but I mean, we only played once for our game, and this was like at the end of the year, just kind of like a fun thing. It wasn't like an actual league.
Powder
going.
puff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It was your powder
right.
puff
It was
game.
our powder puff
Right.
game. Yeah.
That's cute.
So it was fun. I mean, we played against it was literally just Vasquez playing against Vasquez. So we had girls split up, and it was really fun. I enjoyed it, but hearing that Vasquez is topping that, love that for us.
That's awesome.
But I love this for the coach, because not only do they get recognized at the LA Rams at SoFi, I've never actually been to SoFi, but I've seen pictures and it looks awesome. Being able to go to the game and then taking back money for the school, I'm sure they probably are like ecstatic and on cloud nine, because they're saying, hey, this is working. And what we're doing is really achieving for our community.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, first and foremost, he's just happy to even just been mentioned and just to be
Sure. Yeah.
I'm sure.
there. The accolade itself of Coach of the Year is secondary. His main goal is just giving back to the girls, giving back to the community, and making sure there's a good program to come back to.
Yeah. Did you speak with the coach as well?
I did, yes. Like I said, he was just very happy to just, I have a quote right here. It says, just to be mentioned as a finalist amongst the others was amazing. Coaches were awesome. It's a testament to this team and how hard we've worked all season. So, I mean, he wasn't taking this success for himself. He's giving it back to the girls who
That's
had a great
awesome.
season. They made it to the championships in their first ever season.
That's awesome.
That's
well,
cool.
Darby Dunn and Castaic, I'm like, this is so awesome for our community to hear that. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Well, that's all we have time for today on your Hometown Drive. I'm Sophia Lesseos.
I'm Jade Aubuchon.
And I'm Jen Sparks. Thank you, Stephen Barrera, for joining us, and we will see you next week.